What is up, everybody?
Hello.
Thank you for sticking around. We've got Wylie Cable in the house. We've also got Lee here. Lee will be fielding questions. She is our awesome moderator. Big shout out to Conversing with Aliens. He's sitting off to the side here eating some pizza. We just had a question. What's your favorite New York style pizza in LA?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Tacos.
Tacos? Perfect. That's a really good answer. That's the most
Joe's
answer
Pizza
you
in
can
New
get.
York because I'm
Sweet.
an out-of-towner. I don't know the real spots, but that place is good.
Awesome.
Avenue 26 Tacos in LA. That's where you go.
That is the spot. That set was amazing, man. My brain's melted as
Thanks.
usual. You know, that was great. What you've been producing for a little over 10 years, you said?
Yes,
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
You sent me that questionnaire, and I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, 10 years.
That's right. What got you into producing? Like, what made you get your first DAW and like really crack down on like starting to make music?
I honestly I got, I think just GarageBand because it came with a laptop, and it was just to record the punk bands I was in the Bay Area, and I started just recording, like learning how to record stuff, and did all DIY recordings for my bands and stuff, and then in the garage in San Francisco that the Death Medicine band used to kick it in, the Dublin Street House, there was this like Mac Mini that was our like recording thing, and whenever I would like go in there late at night and like fuck around and try and make beats, and like because I'm from LA, I moved to the Bay Area after I graduated from college and started a band up there with my homies and toured up there for a few years, but I was always in the LA scene and like grew up listening to Daedalus and beat scene stuff, and so I was always interested in that. But I was totally one of those awful, annoying people that was like, real music is only played with instruments, bro. When I was like 17 or 18 or whatever, because like I was in bands and I was like, laptops are for whatever. I'm a punk kid. But I got over that eventually and started like just messing around and making, and like, you know, I made my first beat tape that I self-released in 2011 called Water Under the Bridge. It's very mixed very badly, but some of the songs are still kind of gems.
You got it still?
Oh, yeah, it's like
Is
on
it
Spotify.
out?
You
Oh,
can go
nice.
listen to my embarrassing old mixes right now if you want and rate me on Twitter.
Nice.
Yeah, at me. Be like, bro, track 3, the bass is so fucked. What are you thinking?
Same thing happened with my first release. It's so embarrassing, but it's like, what do? You just leave it up there.
Yeah, well, that's why I started a label, and now I help people so that their first release isn't mixed like garbage, and it has
totally.
a mixing and mastering engineer and a press campaign and blah, 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 whatever.
How long did you start? I'm assuming you started producing first. When did you start DJing?
I started producing first. I didn't even my first like attempt at DJing was this really random gig on 7th Street, like by the Greyhound station, and it's like now in the like fancy arts district or whatever, but like it was those roll-up doors on 7th Street. And one of my homies was like renting one of them as a DIY venue back in the day, and me and Chris Adams, his artist name is Ahi.
Oh, big shout out to Ahi.
Yeah.
He was on the show. He was our first guest of the year.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Cool. We're like old friends. I've known that guy forever. We played together, and with my friend Tate, and I remember Chris and I used the same laptop, and we like didn't know how to DJ at all. So we literally just had both of our sets like in the same Ableton session. And like he was first and I was second, and we used the same laptop and like little dinky $50 nano controller to like DJ our sets with. And that was my first like Wylie Cable DJ gig, playing my own beats. It was just like some like, you know, warehouse.
You played all originals though? That's
yeah,
impressive.
yeah. Well, that was like when I thought that was like what I was gonna do or something. I don't know. It's evolved a lot since then. I enjoy playing other people's music much more than I'm not trying to like tour around and be like, come listen to my all original Wylie Cable sets. It's like I don't know. It's just not that fun for me.
Yeah, it's limiting. I feel like
Some artists are great at it though.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, some artists.
If you have a huge catalog
Yeah.
too, like if you have like 200 songs, it's a lot
Yeah.
easier to be a DJ with your own music.
Or
but-
even just like the semi-live thing too. Like I used to tour with RAC, and he had like a really amazing live show where he was doing like mix of live instruments and backing tracks and vocals and like, you know, do all originals for that. But like for DJing, and it's especially if it's a club setting or whatever, I like just playing music. And like I also have access to so much music.
I was gonna say,
running. It's,
yeah,
like,
you have
kind
a
of
gold mine
unfair.
right there. Yeah, that's awesome. Who you said you were in some punk bands and metal to start? Who inspired you
Yes.
early on to like start making experimental music? Was there anybody in particular, or
I mean, my dad got me into music when I was a little kid.
Nice.
Like he played in blues bands toured all over the East Coast when he was like in his 20s. And when I was in 7th grade, my homies were like, "We're gonna start a band," and no one wanted to play bass. And I remember going on a hike with my dad and being like, "What should I do? I really want to be in this band." He's like, "Bro, you should learn to play bass. You're gonna have gigs all the time if you're a bassist. Like, there's no good bassists." So I was like, "Okay." So I like started playing bass in this little weird, like emo thrashcore band called Free Blind.
was this early 2000s?
No,
No?
this was like
90s?
no, not 90s. I guess early 2000s. I don't remember when I graduated from high school in 2005. So yeah, I guess very early 2000s.
Nice.
Yeah. Like 2001. I guess I was in 7th grade. I don't know. I don't remember.
Wow.
I smoked too much weed to remember the exact years. But then I like got into experimental electronic music partly because my friend Cody, Goodnight Cody, he used to be called Snorlax. We changed his name to Goodnight Cody. He's like in Team Supreme. He's a really good friend of mine. And I remember he was always like keyed on the coolest shit when we were younger in high school. And we played in bands together too. Had this band called The Peets. And they went on a fucking nationwide tour that they self-booked on MySpace.
Wow.
In a Craigslist bus they bought that they paid me $200 to paint psychedelic colors. That's how long I've known Cody.
That's incredible.
He was always up on cool shit. And he's like, I'm pretty sure if my memory serves me correct, he was like my homie in high school who took me to Low End Theory for my first time. And I was like, "Oh, this shit is cool. You should check this out." Like Teebs and blah 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 blah. And I got into Daedalus and all that whole scene and yeah, and that was kind of the beginning of me figuring out stuff. I also remember like Telephone Tel Aviv was like a very early artist that I got into.
Nice. I love that.
Sidebar, really weird. I was like, when I lived in the Bay Area, I was all involved in the like psytrance underground scene up there. Cause like the electronic music scene in the Bay Area is way different back then, and like there wasn't really like bass and like that shit wasn't popping yet.
Totally.
But yeah, me and my homies used to throw these like psytrance parties in NorCal, and that was also like definitely part of what got me into weird underground electronic music culture in general, and like raves and underground.
Was Ahi part of that?
Sort of.
I forgot to ask him if he was ever in like the psytrance.
Yeah, not exactly. He wasn't my friend. He came to some of the parties with me and like would check it out with me. But he like me and my homie Dave Cohen. His artist name. He has a bunch of artist names, but AC Lion, DC Offset. What's his actual? I'm spacing on it's. Dog of Tears, the Dog of Tears. He was my homie that I used to do the psytrance parties with, and we would like throw the parties together. Sometimes he'd hire me to like do art for the parties or whatever. And that was like a big influence on me getting into that whole like underground, like I want to throw raves and put a sound system in the middle of the forest and like do this with my homies. But just like growing up on the West Coast basically, and like being being a weird art kid who was like into weird shit and would like ride my bike to Venice Beach. Like I don't know if anyone has heard of this band, but Insects vs. Robots was one of my like the biggest bands.
Yeah, when I moved to LA,
they were the
band
shit.
Was massive.
Yeah, they were the dude.
What happened to them?
They broke up because all bands break up.
All bands break up eventually.
The band I was in at that time was called Grapes and Nuts, different from the metal bands, but it was more like a psych proto jazz whatever band.
Sweet.
We would play with Insects versus Robots all the time, and like there was this venue called the Cozy Castle that we used to throw shows. It was just like I've just wanted to be involved in art, and like I guess specifically like I'm drawn to this kind of raw like underground super anarchic chaotic shit.
It's the punk in you, I think.
Yeah.
You know, it carries over to our scene. You know, I was a punker.
I still wear all black. I'm just like a little punker.
I was a
17-year-old
punker,
in a 30-year-old body.
industrial, hardcore kid in Boston growing up. So I'm the same background, really.
Tight.
That's why I like.
Have you heard of Orchid?
I don't know. I don't think
the hardcore band from Boston.
No.
They're like my favorite hardcore band
I'm
ever.
gonna have to check them out
because of Dave Cohen.
Amazing.
Shout out Dave.
Yeah.
Fuck you also.
Ken Dario was a big one for me. Ken Dario is one of my first favorite hardcore bands. They do like freeform jazz, metal, hip hop.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, I'm basically just like a punk kid who runs a electronic music label now.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of your music's borderline punk too, which is really cool.
Well, it's the stuff I played for sure. That Boston record, all the like crazy heavy, like distorted, sounds like it's a hardcore band tracks were this guy Boston.
He was on our show
Sick.
not too long ago, right? That was like a couple months ago.
Man's just put
Oh,
out.
no, he wasn't on the show. He played bass waffles. Right? Yeah, that's where I met him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was incredible. That's
Yeah,
where I saw him.
Boston just put out his new EP on the label
Cool.
last Friday.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, here I'm gonna plug a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, please do.
So we're putting out the first single for DeBao's remix EP next Friday. I played from Saruda, and then this Friday we're putting out the first single from the new DMVU EP, which I also played. And then the following week there's another DMVU single, and then the next week there's the DeBao remix EP with John Casey, DMVU, Saruda, and Liney. And then the following week after that, the whole DMVU EP project drops. And then we're going to do a super sick reissue project that I'm going to wait to officially
Talk
announce.
about
That's
it?
not on a stream because it's with a big label. And
Sweet.
I don't know if they get mad at me or what.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's good. That's so much to take in, man. That's incredible. That's so many good.
We're
artists,
releasing
man.
a lot of music lately. We've been doing like, I think this, like when we finish this row, we'll have released like 8 or 9 weeks of new music every Friday for like, I don't know. I'm psycho. I need to go on a vacation or something.
I really enjoy a lot of your instrumental stuff that you have up, like some of the videos you playing piano and.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. I was like digging through your music to find stuff for one of the videos, and I was like, wow, this is such range here. It's pretty crazy. Do you
Range.
Do you have, yeah? Do you ever consider like doing a live project or anything? Or?
Oh, I did so many live projects. I mean,
Yeah.
like I'm recording a bunch of songs right now with like guitar and that piano thing video that I posted. I'm
Sweet.
gonna make a nice recording of that in the studio, and I would like to release some of that stuff again. I have been like self-releasing music since I was like 15 or 16 or something, and recording stuff in GarageBand and on tape decks. And I used to just do all like singer-songwriter stuff. I was just like played in bands and like wrote guitar songs and played bass and whatever. And then I like went to school for music, and so I had a whole arc of my life from when I was like a teenager till like my early 20s, like 21, 22, where that was like all I did. And I was just like played instruments and practiced all the time and got really good in shredding and fucking playing riffs and whatever. And then my focus shifted very dramatically, and when I got into electronic music and producing, when I was like 18 or 19, and then I released 8 albums of like electronic music that I produced. Wow. And started the label, and we put out like over 140 full-length albums on the label. Mostly electronic music, some bands, some folk, some classical, but like mostly dance, festival, hip hop, West Coast shit. And recently, I have been wanting to make more songs again, which is probably why you're seeing me post stuff like that on the internet, because I'm thinking about it. And I have a bunch of songs that I recorded with my good friend Luis Flores, who works with Linda Perry, who's an incredible American songwriter. She has this really great studio in the Valley that I've been lucky enough to record at. I'm supposed to go there later this month, like after South by, and record some more songs.
Incredible.
So that, if people are into that, I don't know. Does anyone want to hear my emo folk songs?
I would personally love it. Yeah.
We got
for
1,
sure.
2 votes, 3 votes.
Yeah.
Only 2 votes for my
only 2
emo
votes.
folk EP.
But
that's pretty good.
She's like 3 seconds ahead because she's listening to the actual stream. She's like, yes. But no, it's great. Like we had Murillo in here, and he like, I've been friends with him for a little while, and I didn't realize he put that last album out. I listened to it. I was like, wow, where did this come from? I don't know if
Yeah.
you've heard it. It's so good. It's like super, just like, I don't know, like down tempo live. I don't know.
Yeah,
trip hop. And I was like,
I'm not
super
even
cool.
gonna like try and produce these songs. They're just literally gonna be like me playing guitar in a room,
That's awesome.
like-
That's great.
weeping about my lost loves.
Let's talk about Dome of Doom.
Yes.
How did
yes.
Dome of Doom start?
Stop talking about me, please.
Where did Dome of Doom start? What's the whole concept behind
Dome
it?
of Doom is an inside joke from my old friend's band, Grapes and Nuts, or my band with my friends, whatever. We were gonna have a dome. It was gonna be a sick mobile studio that we would roll around in, and we could fuck shit up and like go play shows, and it would have like a recording studio inside and like a sandwich sharing balcony, weed smoking area, outdoor area on the top. And like we could just like roll up to Burning Man or a festival or whatever with our sick dome and be like, boom, we're here. The Dome of Doom. And it was just this like dumbass joke we had. We were like, when our band blows up, we're gonna make this dome. And when that band inevitably broke up, as all bands are destined to do, I hit everyone up in the band, and I was like, "Hey, I really like this Dome of Doom thing. It's really funny to me. Like, does anyone care if I use it as a name for this label project that I want to start?" And everyone was like, "No, we don't give a shit. Like, whatever." So I did. And now, 10 years later, my terrible, stupid inside joke with my like high school friends is the name of my
It's
business.
a giant, yeah,
Yep.
label. That's incredible.
That's what happened.
That's awesome.
Fuck me.
How did you? You know,
I can't believe that's like literally the story.
That's okay. My DJ name, I got my DJ name because I was the Moth, and my friend was making me a website, and he couldn't get themoth.com. He's like, I got demoth.com.
And then you were like, we're rolling
I was like,
with
you
it.
know, I roll with it. And now, yeah,
Hey.
15, 16 years later, people are like, what does it mean?
Sick.
I'm like,
You're
it
like,
means
nothing.
absolutely nothing.
Well, mine has a meaning, but it's just very vague and long-winded. I have to tell this whole story about my old band and how there's a sandwich sharing balcony on the dome,
Totally.
and there was subwoofers attached. And
you ever plan
anyways,
on building it still?
if I sell some platinum records and like have an infinite money, hell yeah.
Have a reunion show with Grapes and Nuts.
Yeah,
In the Dome
let's
of Doom.
go. Let's go. Oh my God. Yeah. What on the dome theme? I used to throw these raves out in Joshua Tree at my friend's land who had a dome, and it was called Fry Dome. Fry Dome Fry was the name of the event. We did it like 3 years in a row, and it was very not permitted and very extremely renegade, but like it was very fun, and it was this like, you know, from 6 p.m. till 6 a.m. rage fest.
Those are the best.
Yeah, that was also partially inspired the dome theme.
Nice.
And
So-
Buckminster Fuller. Okay, I'm done.
Do you have any advice for new? Do you have any advice for new producers that are trying to like get music, not specifically on your label, but as like a label?
Yes, you should go to the label you like's Instagram and like 50 of their posts, and then DM them like 5 times all your SoundCloud links and be like, "Let's work," until they respond. That's how business is done.
Yeah.
No, I'm literally
That
just.
seems like really
I'm literally-
not great advice.
I'm literally just ripping my friend's joke from the internet. This guy runs another label called something Doom. Dude, what's the other Doom label? Doom Trip. Did Mini Joe's putting the thing on? Anyways.
Oh, yeah, I think it's
Doom Trip, right? Yeah. Okay. We need to have a Dome of Doom versus Doom Trip label show versus. I'm calling you out right now,
battle.
Doom Trip Records. If you see this, let's fucking duke it out.
We'll host that here if you want.
No, I was just literally stealing his jokes from the internet. But no, I mean, for real, my advice is, God, that's such a ridiculous question. If you want to make art because you love making art, that's what you should do. You should make the art that you want to make, and you should ignore everyone's advice of, oh, you should make house, and you should make this, or you should do pop, or whatever, and you should follow your instinct and your creative bliss, and make something that you really, truly believe in. And if you do that, and can devote some time and energy to that, then you'll probably find other like-minded people who are interested in that work. And that's basically how everything that happens on my label works. It's a very artist-centric, creative-centric, like, some of the records stream very well, some of the records sell very well, and some of the artists are out on tour and have made careers of this, and I've helped them get their first booking agents and management teams and sync and licensing stuff that we do for TV shows and all this label services we do. So it is, happening, and there's artists I work with that have careers and do all that. But it's like, I'm never like going to an artist and being like, oh, you should change this about your song or da-da-da-da. I really am just like trying to help people get their creativity out and finish their thoughts and finish their records and make authentic, honest music that they care about. And I think that that's what is the coolest thing, and that's what I'm interested in. And the music industry at large is like totally fucked. I mean, like if you want success, there's like many paths to success you can follow. There's like the Skrillex one, or there's the like, rap producer one, or there's the like there's a million formulaic paths to success that if your goal is to make money and be successful and whatever, success in quotes, because it's like depends on what you want out of the situation. Then you can make, you can download loops off Splice and make tech house in like literally 30 minutes. And like I'm not trying to talk shit or whatever, but it's literally just like it's a doer decides, build your own adventure kind of a thing,
Totally.
Like,
No, that's great advice. No, that's really good.
yeah.
because it is confusing. I think as new producers come in and they're like trying to like say you're making your own art or something, and like sometimes it gets confusing to be like, what do I do with this next? You know what I mean? And I think it's good advice if you follow the art that you're trying to make, then you'll probably find your circle and find a way.
And like
into,
also don't even wait. You don't have to wait for like some label to notice you or some other person. Like there's plenty of options to self-release your music now.
Yep.
Put it out on Spotify through DistroKid. Put it on Bandcamp. Put it on Audius or SoundCloud or the million other places you can put your music up on the or make a freaking NFT. I don't care. Like however you want to share your music. And eventually, if you do that and have consistency, like you'll find people who want to work with you. We've done a lot of like straight debut albums where it's like the first official release ever for the artist. But most of the artists that I've worked with had like at least some kind of like paper trail of like, even if it was just a bunch of tracks up on SoundCloud and they had nothing officially released or whatever, but they had been putting some music out and it's like, that's sort of the beginning step. You got to just like go for it and see what happens. And it's terrifying. It's so terrifying to release artwork.
It's
oh my
so
God.
scary. Yeah.
And then you go and you look on the SoundCloud and you're like, oh, 32 streams. Fuck me. Like, like it's psychotic. But like, if you were going to do the artist thing, you better get ready to like for some mental pain.
Mm-hmm. It inspires good new art though. Right?
It's over here dying. I'm just like turning everyone off of producing. Everyone's like, this sounds awful.
I mean, maybe that's good. You know, you have to be ready. It's good to warn people. You know, I walked in thinking it was roses and daisies.
It's
and
not.
Like, no,
yeah, it's so much work.
20 years later.
Oh my God.
It's like, oh, I'm gonna be a musician. It's gonna be easy. You know, we're gonna just make music and like play shows.
It'll
and
be
stuff,
fun.
and then,
It'll be a good time.
10 hours a day on stupid social media trying to.
Bro, I
promote.
literally had a mental breakdown in a coffin crypt bunk in a tour bus once when I was driving from like Arizona to California. I was like, what am I doing with my life? Get me out of here. I'm sleeping in like a 4-foot wide trench.
Yeah, man. I did the Porter Robinson tour. I was his Ableton tech, and it was my first.
Oh, that's cool.
And I was stuck on the top bunk of like this little tiny.
Yeah, the bunks.
It was.
They don't tell you about the bunks until you're already on the tour.
Yeah.
And they're like, "This is where you sleep," and you're like,
"You're tall
what?
too, man. I thought I was tall, but you're taller than I am."
No,
man.
It's okay. It's fine.
I like squished.
In Europe, the tour buses are double-decker tour buses, which is you think it's cool, but it's actually not cool because you can't stand up in either of the floors.
Oh my God.
Like, they're just for sitting.
Yeah.
Like if you try and stand up, it's like.
Yeah. I was so excited to get on that tour, and then a
Anyways.
week later, I was like, "What am I doing?" with
No,
my
yeah,
life?"
it happens. Touring is fun. Everyone should do it at least once.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you
no,
don't
exactly.
die, then
Yeah.
continue
Yeah, exactly.
or whatever.
Yeah, I did it once, and I didn't die.
And
but
you were
I'm
like,
not
I'm
continuing.
good. Yeah. I did it for like 5 years.
No, thank you. If I was an artist, maybe, but not as like the crew, because
I did all sides of it. I was like, I started out doing VJ stuff, very like crew centric. Well, I started out doing like bands and like doing DIY touring in vans and pickup trucks, and we didn't make any money. And then like I started doing DJ gigs locally around California, and then my first like actual major nationwide and worldwide tours were with Teaching Machine, formerly known as Teaching Machine. Now they're called Strange Loop Studios. Doing VJ stuff for like a bunch of artists, and then I like did that for 2.5 years, and then I like parlayed that into doing other DJ gigs, and then I was like booking stuff for the all the artists on the label, and da 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 da. I had like a residency at Low End Theory, doing visuals there and playing there all the time, getting our artists booked, and it was like solid like 5 years of like shows every other weekend or whatever, and then kind of leading up all the way into 2020, and then like. We had John Casey out on tour on his first U.S. tour for his last album that we put out in 2020. And then in March, the shit hit the fan and everything got canceled and he got stuck and we had to send him back to South Africa. He had to crash a cheese house for like 2 weeks in Philly. It was a giant disaster. But he's back right now in America, touring again. Never give up. Never surrender.
How'd you guys get through the pandemic as a label if you couldn't do shows and stuff like that? Was it a challenge, or how'd you stay inspired? And
I moved to the desert. I abandoned Los Angeles. I literally just like bailed and like moved to Joshua Tree for 9 months and like went on a vision quest.
that sounds great.
It was needed because I had not had time to do anything like that for so long because I was so busy running the label and doing shows and getting on touring and blah blah blah. And that was cool. And it definitely, actually, my life has changed a lot in the past couple of years, like everyone's, I imagine. I have very much shifted in the past 2 years to like focusing almost exclusively on running the label, which is like why we're doing a release every week for 8 weeks or whatever. Is because I've like done all this work months and months and months ago to like get this all set up and get all the records mastered and get all the artwork done and all the contracts. It's like a lot of shit to organize. But yeah, so now I'm like kind of like shifting back into being like, oh, playing shows again. Okay, like let me do that again. I think this is my like 4th show I've played this year. Whatever stream, whatever you call it.
It's nice to take it slow. I've played like 4 or 5 this year too, so no need to rush back in. We're all busy doing other things that are important. Right?
I miss the road, but I'm also like weirdly like I'm having this weird like, oh wow, I like escaped somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just chill at my house now.
I know a lot of people. Yeah, I know a lot of artists that feel like that. Me myself as well.
It was weird. I don't know. I'm having an identity crisis about it a little bit, but I think most artists have had a pretty rough couple years, so I'm not alone with that. I think.
Yeah, 100%.
Just like what is even happening? Like.
Yeah, it was a good time to evaluate, though. I feel like for a lot of artists, it sucked a lot, but I think a lot of people kind of landed pretty good on their feet and like had a little time to get grounded, like you said. Pretty cool.
Some people quit.
Some people did quit, but
that's okay though.
Only the strong survive, I guess. I don't know.
No, it's not. Music's for everybody. Everybody's allowed to do music, but not everyone is a masochist enough to do it for a job.
Very true. Shout out to everybody who stuck with it.
Yeah, seriously though, it is cool to see my friends who I've known since I was like 17, and some of them are still doing music stuff. Like Cody is one of those homies. Like we've been playing bands since we were in high school. He still gigs. He still does production for stuff. He's like out there making music all the time. Yep. Alfred, Daedalus, another artist that I've been inspired by like literally my whole life.
Yeah, huge
still
inspiration.
Making like the fact that Alfred and I have a song together is crazy to me.
That's
incredible. Like 17-year-old Wylie would not. I would be like, no way, no way.
We have an announcement about him soon, but I can't make it yet.
Okay, so. Them.
Them. This is something we ask every guest. We are a privacy-based coin and show. It makes a lot. It means a lot to us here. Does privacy play a role in your creative process, and does it, is it important to you?
You asked me this, and I think my reply was very. I'm not going to give you the reply you're looking for. Your ad bumper.
Not at all. No, there's no wrong answer to this at all.
Whenever people ask me about privacy and being an artist, I'm like, ooh, you don't get any. Like you just like surrender that. Like it's just like, yeah, my privacy is gone. Mm-hmm. It's weird. I don't know. I mean, some artists do the like anonymity thing, and it's cool. I have always kind of like existed or whatever and been like, oh, easy to find. Like my legal name is my DJ name. Like you can Google me and like there I am. Like it's very easy to find me. Like I'm very accessible. I mean, it's a weird part of, especially in this modern hyper media, social media age. Everything is on the internet. We all do it. I have social media accounts. I post my stupid thoughts on them. Mm-hmm. And my selfies of myself and flyers of this show and what it's just like part of how we communicate in our society now. Yep. And yeah, it's very bizarre. Like not something I thought about when I was a kid, being like, oh, I love music, I love performing. I didn't think like, oh, the result of this will be that you will be very searchable. Mm-hmm. Like I was not part of but for those considering a life in the arts, maybe have an AKA or don't use your legal name if you don't want your legal name to be findable, or think about your privacy and set it up in a way that works for your brain.
Totally. I think artists like us who've been in it for so long kind of just fell into this place where we're like, oh, I guess we're not
yeah,
anymore.
Like this is happening. I mean, like whatever.
But I mean, I guess you're right. If you're a new artist, it's a little something you could think about a little bit more. But there's no wrong answer to that. We just want to know people's thoughts on it. Like, it's about 50-50 with guests here. It's like I said, we're just curious to.
I'm into privacy for my personal life. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not like posting my stock results or my significant, like who my dating history or whatever. Like, you know, there's stuff I keep private for sure.
Mhm.
But as far as my art and my like persona, that's just like out there. There's nothing I can do about it. That's too late.
Yeah.
I can't like delete all of that. It's
You're just, yeah,
it's
it's
just what is
done.
gonna I
never even thought about that. I'm glad
Yeah.
I didn't use. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
that's a lot of stress, I guess. But you know,
whatever.
it's an original name too, so it's
Yeah, everybody thinks it's fake. Everybody's like, that can't be a real name. I'm like, nope, that's what my mom calls me. It's
That's amazing.
on my ID.
We can wrap this up in a little bit. Do you have any shows coming up? You already promoted. If you want to shout out those releases again, you can. Or if you have any shows or anything you want to.
Yeah, I'll plug a bunch of stuff right quick. Mostly it's going to be stuff that artists on the label are doing. We got John Casey playing with G. Jones in Atlanta and Mr. Carmack. And that is going to be sick. If you live in the South or 2-hour flight from Atlanta, you should go to that. We just had a bunch of artists play the Dirty Bird Campin' Festival. Huxley Ann and Quarter both played. That's over, but still cool. Quarter is on a bunch of big festivals this year that I can't announce yet. We keep waiting to announce them. Oh my god!
She's dope, by the way. I just got
Quarter
introduced
is
to her.
amazing.
Whew.
She's been putting out crazy remixes. We're on like a little hiatus right now for March because we're putting out a bunch of other releases, but she's going to be back doing stuff with the label in April. She's got a whole remix album dropping later this spring. We're finally getting the vinyl for her record done. She's on tour like crazy. Go to quarter.party to see her website and all her tour dates.
QRTR?
QRTR.party. Great website name. Love that
Yeah.
website. Quarter.party. Wow, brilliant. Who else? John Casey's on tour all over the U.S. right now. He's playing Lightning in a Bottle. He's playing a bunch of great. He's playing Brownies and Lemonade in Los Angeles next weekend, whenever it is. March
I think it's next
something.
weekend.
Yeah. B2B with Liney, who also has a really sick Psycho EP released on the label. DeBow is putting out his remix EP. DMVU is going on tour with Uzi. Like it's like full. Like it is cool to. We're like it feels like we're back. Like half a dozen of the artists are out on big tours with like 30+ dates. People are putting out records again. It's all like.
That feels so good to hear.
Oh my god. Yeah, I was so stressed. Like,
Yeah.
Go get a job making sandwiches or something.
Right.
And no
Man,
way.
You weren't the only one, man. I think we all found ourselves in some situations over the last couple of years, but I'm glad we made it out. You know,
Yeah.
I'm glad Dome of Doom is killing it. Glad you're killing it.
Killing it. You heard it here first. We're killing it.
Killing it.
Verified
Crushed.
by Mark.
Yes,
If anyone asks, we're killing it.
we are.
Okay. If you could bring any animal, wild or domestic, on vacation, where would you bring them?
Whoa. Oh my God. This is such a complex question. Pick an animal and the vacation destination for
but
the
I-
animal.
You don't even have
Well,
to tell me what the animal is.
No,
so
but
it
you
ma-
wanna take an animal somewhere new. You wanna take like
Correct.
a penguin to like a tropical beach or something, right? Or like take like a red panda to like the top of a volcano.
I'm into these things.
Either of those. Those are my two answers. You want to do a dice roll and see which
I'm sold on that.
Okay. Yeah. I'm taking 2 trips with 2 different animals because I'm special.
We'll work on that for you. Thank you.
Good question. She's got the best questions.
That was great.
Thank you so much
Thanks
for
for
coming through.
Being not music related.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming through. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
yeah.
My absolute pleasure. I had fun. I got to play some punk trap crossover music
Yeah, it was so
and
good.
get very sweaty. Thank you, MobileCoin Radio.
Thank you to everybody who's tuned in still and hung out. Big shout outs to Conversing with Aliens for doing the visuals.
Wait, come here.
Yeah, get in the frame. Go say what's up.
My boy.
We're going to be back here next Tuesday with Honeycomb. He's going to be doing a takeover show every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Really?
PST.
so cute.
After that, next Wednesday, we have a fundraiser show for Ukraine humanitarian efforts. You can tune in. We'll be live with Iliao. Week after that, we've got EP is Cool. And then the week after that, we have Jeremy Soul. So lock it in. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Hopefully you get yourself some free Mob, and we will see you next Tuesday. Peace.
Bye.